Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with Scrap Backwards. And this is my this is the third week that Scrappy Adam and I are doing this series. And just to remind you of my starting point and kind of show you where I am and where I'm headed today, I started basically with this chipboard sheet, and I've kind of pulled some things out so that I could dry fit and test them on the layout that I'm planning. And it has these kind of vintagey elements. It's got a teal color, a navy, and a yellow and a green. And then there's some black and white in there, or very, very dark navy and white. There's a pair of glasses, an umbrella. There were some nested frames there. There's a little floral banner here. There's some, kind of chipboard pieces there, some striped border pieces. And then because the colors were similar and the feel of the images was similar, I brought in this sticker sheet, which has some smaller florals and has a lot of the same colors. It's got this bird and this vintage camera, this bicycle, kind of a border piece down here, a fleur-de-lis, but it's got some clothespins, or pegs, as my British friends call them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and then some, just kind of generic images that made me think that going backwards from this, my idea was I need to find photos that kind of pick up on that vintage vibe, where an old-timey telephone and a cassette and this umbrella, the glasses, all of these kinds of images wouldn't look out of place or just kind of goofy and just kind of stuck there for the sake of using things up. And I'm not opposed to sticking things there for the sake of using them up. It's just that's kind of not the spirit that I wanted to go in with on this project. I kind of wanted to work backwards and kind of prove to myself that I could take something that I once loved enough to buy it and use it. I must have something in my mind or in my stash that would go with it and make a layout that would make sense, or else I wouldn't have bought it, or else I should maybe throw it away. So, not going to do that. So I've kind of pulled these things out thinking I might use those. So with that in mind, I kind of went looking for something in the in sketches or scrap lifts that would lend itself to the vintage vibe. And I found this. This is day 6 of the 12 days of autumn scrap lifts over at Scrap Squad. And it's got 3 fringed backgrounds. It's got some icons kind of strung together in tags and so forth. It's got 1 photo, and it's got the kind of the 3 strips there. So I thought, these are relatively small icons, and I've got large ones left on my sheets. So the scale's bigger, so why don't I just do 2 strips of fringe? And when looking for photos, I thought, okay, I have some vintagey looking photos that I took at the retreat that I went to, the Scrapping Reflections retreat. And there's a building out there that's like an old Texaco station, and there's an outhouse right by it. And so we were joking around, everybody lined up like we were having to go and really needing to get into the outhouse. And Sandy Reversky, State Goddess, was trying to cover up the image of the guy taking a bath in a tub over on the side of the outhouse. So all in good fun, and I thought those would be good. And all the rest of these vintagey images would make sense with those kind of photos. So that's where I'm headed. I'll also remind you of some of the other elements of my kit. I took a scrap of the yellow paper, die cut some kind of tumbleweed looking sorts of things because we were in rural Texas. So I'm going to put that to the side. I have this yellow paper with the clouds on the other side. I actually fussy cut some of those clouds out. This is the paper that I'm using for the fringe, and I've already cut that out. I don't have, I ordered some herb scissors and they're not in yet. So I've made one tag out of this paper. I have another scrap of this. I fussy cut some flowers out of this paper, and I cut, there was a scrap left kind of over in here, and I cut a tag, and I'll show you what I did for the tags in a minute. I've got this black and white diagonal. There are a couple more scraps. There's a branding strip. This is a full sheet of black and white polka dot textured paper that's absolutely gorgeous, and a full sheet of yellow. And I've got, I don't know what that is. That's just a scrap of white. I've got this bit, and I may use this rather than this. I have used this side a couple times. So I'm going to put these, I think I'm done with paper. I'm going to put those aside. I'll pull my sticker sheets down. And this, I've also pulled into the kit this time the black and white baker's twine, and this kind of crazy bowl of everything from buttons to little plastic baseballs. Well, I guess those are buttons too. A little, you know, that might be cute to use. It says hooray for cake, and I think there was cake involved inside somewhere. The load prompt for the day has something to do with keys. So I have this kind of vintagey looking key that I thought I might sneak in there somewhere. I'm not going to, it's a, today's prompt goes beyond my storytelling capability. I'm also working again with the issue of, that's my die that I used to cut that, the issue of my printer feed mechanism not working. So the last time that happened, I corrected it by changing paper to one that it would get a grip on and feed, and then it would get used to feeding, and then I was able to use any paper in it. And that worked for a little while, but it's back to not working again, and I tried several things and it didn't work. So I have this bit of a frame from last time. I thought that might be a nice accent somewhere in there. I have cut a full tag out of the peacock feather paper. I cut a partial tag out of the yellow. Partial tag out of the green. The great way to use scraps, just cut tag tops out of them. I've got this little green there. I've got the black and white. I actually have an envelope die, and I made an envelope out of the scrap of this paper that has that. So I don't know if I'm going to leave that open or close it, not quite sure. I've left them open and put flair in them before. I might have the key and a piece of flair in there. And when I printed the photos, when my printer was working, I printed this that says, who's taking so long? and I'll kind of put that in the grouping that has that photo, and then AKA scenes from the outhouse. And so that's, I think Who's Taking So Long is going to be my title. Unless I find something on here that works. And at the retreat, my secret sister was JoJo Kelly, and she gave me, among many other things, she gave me these 2 bits of die cut, like fishnet kind of stuff. And the colors are right for the photos. Look how perfect that is. And so I thought I'd try to use those in there somewhere. I happened to be walking past a place where I had these, they're clothespins. They're, I guess, again, my British friends call them pegs, but maybe those others are the ones that are pegs. But I thought the color was good, and it's the only one I have. I think originally I had a set of 6 of these, and I've used all except this color. So I thought maybe I could work that on there somewhere. Clotheslines seem to go with the outhouse vibe. So I have cut with my scissors this fringe, and I'm kind of trying to curl it up. I cut some pieces out of it so that it would, you could tell that it was fringe. So I kind of did that, and I did some foam on the back. So let's get that glued down and let's start decorating this puppy. I'm gonna do this one kind of centered, and these sections are about 8 inches by, I want to say 4.5, because the original ones, it looked like there were 3 3-inch sections, and that was 9 inches. So I thought I'd do 2 4.5-inch sections, and I thought I would do this photo there and this one here. And I've got some foam, and I've also distressed both the photo and the matting. Sorry about that. So let me try to sit down without knocking out my camera setup. So I'm going to move that one down and just kind of glue it right there so I can tuck things underneath it. There, and then I'm going to glue this one down sort of like that. And then everything else is going to kind of come from there. Although, let's just rethink this for a minute. This, I thought, could work like that. Okay, so that means this one needs to be going this way, and maybe a little bit over to the left. And here I thought I would use this floral frame, maybe kind of peeking out, let's see, that way. And then I thought I could put some I've fussy cut, and these florals are very different from these florals, so I don't know that I will use them together. I might separate them, but I'm going to use them on the same page. That does not bother me at all. So where did my scissors go? Here we go. I covered them up. I'm going to cut this little frame out. It's a sticker that I stuck onto white cardstock so that I could save it. because I knew it would never stick back on the sticker sheet itself. And I thought it might work under there. So let me get my, oh my goodness. I have no preconceived notion of the design here. I just, in the true spirit of Scrap Backwards, I'm just kind of going backwards from what's on the sticker sheet, and okay, what did I do with my little frame now? Okay, here it is. And this, I can hide the cut end underneath here. Again, I stuck something down too soon. Okay, that seems to work. Now, I really like, I know it seems silly to have two cameras, two very different cameras in the same scenario, but I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll put this back and I'll save that for another idea. Let's do the bicycle. Do I want it like that, or do I want to fussy cut it? Let's fussy cut it. And then I may save this frame like I saved the other one. In the original, the clothesline and twine and clothespins made sense because it was showing, the theme was kind of like sweater weather, and it was showing some clothing. And that's not what we're gonna be doing here. Let's see, maybe I can do that right there, and maybe I can put a small floral element kind of back behind there. I have a small one somewhere. Let's see, got clouds. I know, okay, here it is. There's that, and it's right up next to this, and it doesn't really look too bad. But let's see if one of these yellow ones would look better. Maybe. That might work. Let me get some glue there. Okay, there's enough glue on there to hold that. Now, I want to work in the tags. I don't know that I will use them all. And maybe maybe the tag, maybe this one doesn't need to be that big. Maybe the tags will, let's save that. Maybe the tags will again, I've glued things down in the wrong order. I guess what I was going to say is maybe the tags won't play as big a role in my page as they did in the original. There, and then I've got we'll do that, and then I want something that really stands out in addition to that, and this black and white one does. Or do I want the black and white maybe up here? I might do that. And I'll slide it under those flowers and over this guy. And then when I wind the twine through there, it'll bring your eye to it. I know that I have to have this key, and I wanted it kind of down like here where it's like the key to the outhouse. So let me see if I can cut a strip thin enough to pop it up on foam so that it doesn't just look glued down onto that photo. The load prompt was about, it's all about mysteries and capers and detectives and so forth, the whole month's theme. But the one today has to do with kind of unlocking a good mystery by kind of an unusual means of unlocking clues. And I might have gone to some trouble to find don't really like that there because it looks like it's kind of trying to cover up Sandy. So I'm going to move it over a bit. Now I have this, anyway, it wasn't something that I could relate to given the photos that I had printed and not being able to print others. I have a story that probably would embarrass James if I were to tell it, which is a good enough reason to tell it, I think. And it would have been good. And I do have some photos. I just would have to print them. John and I went to the Kerrville Folk Festival in Kerrville, Texas, one year. And we had 2 cars then, and so we took the larger one that would fit our luggage. And we left James. We took him grocery shopping, left him with plenty to eat. He had his bicycle, and it was a short bicycle ride to the gym. What I'm doing here is, this piece of chipboard says, "A boy's story is the best that is told." Well, I'll probably never use it for that. So I'm putting this piece of flair, and then I'm going to fit some florals around it and kind of cover up the sentiment, but have a dimensional piece. Let's see, is that? There, and now the flower. I'll add a little foam to it. Anyway, when we got home, we checked on the little car, which was my little Mazda Miata. And John could tell that it had been something had changed in it. And this is cute, but I don't really know where to use it now. Maybe over here. I could actually do it this way, kind of behind the bike, down here, and that brings the flowers across there. I'm going to do that. So there was some detective work involved. That's a story for another time, in figuring out that indeed someone had used it, and it turned out James had gone into my the place where I kept my keys, and had taken the keys, and he didn't drive, but his friend did, and they used it to, and it turned out that people who we had friends who, I don't like that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it was a cute idea, and if I didn't have some of the other embellishments, it might be good, but I don't need it like that. But I can use the flare like that. Okay, now I want to use this bird. So anyway, it would have been a good story, and there's a little there's a little more humor to it nowadays than there was at the time. I can guarantee you. I like this. I've got, you may be able to hear Reese barking, and you may be able to hear the girls telling her to shut up. And if so, I apologize. So I'm going to just kind of I need something colorful right there. So maybe a flare. And this flare might have room for a little floral bit on it. And I've got, let's see, which floral bits? I've got just stuff all over the place. I like this blue one, and I'm going to pop it up. It's filling up, and I haven't used nearly everything I thought I'd use, but this kind of lends itself to overlapping things, so I'm not going to say I'm finished. Let's do that right there. Again, a little bit different style flower from what we have had. I'm going to wait for those pegs until I've got the kind of want that. I don't need the whole thing. Let me get a tiny bit. But I like the idea of it looking a little like chicken wire. That's kind of the look I'm going for there. I'm going to put a tad of glue to kind of stick it to the paper. Let me put that over in the saving it for another time pile. I thought this might be able to go right there. That kind of lifts that up. Let's see what else we have. I have this piece right here, which certainly could work right there. And that's a sticker, so I'm not going to put any more glue on it. I'd like that chicken wire to make an appearance up here too, so maybe I'll do it down below. I'll put the glue on it, the part that's going to stick underneath the photo. I'll raise this up and kind of have it coming down like that. Okay, I've got this bit of tumbleweedy kind of stuff that could just sort of lie across there, gluing it down here and kind of curling it up there. I had thought I might use the umbrella, but I'm not going to. Let's see what else can I use. I've got the glasses, and in the original, there's a pair of glasses like somewhere in there, right up here. And I thought I might try to work it in somehow, but I wouldn't want the whole pair to come out. That would be fine, just like that. Okay. Let me lift it up. And I've got to remember my title bits. There we go. And I've got this banner bit that could also be kind of up where the, some of the twine could go through it. I'd almost have to do it like that, or kind of layer it underneath here, coming out that way and sticking up. But that, surprisingly, for old chipboard, is okay. That'll work, and that'll give me something, kind of a place to start the twine. Now, let me do this piece on some foam. I love how it's turning out, but it doesn't have nearly what I had thought I'd put on it. It doesn't fit, even with the larger scale. So I'm glad I did the larger. Okay, this says, who's taking so long? Let me put the key. I'm gonna distress it. And it's photo paper. I printed it on the same sheet that I printed the photos, so it really distresses nicely. And of course, I know I'm getting stuff there, but I did that to stay in frame. Okay. And then this has the hooray for cake. And it's been glued to something already and has been pulled off. Not quite sure where this would be appropriate, but why not? Put it right here. And this has AKA Scenes from the Outhouse. I'm not using the telephone or any of the chipboard florals. And I'm not using the fun or the This Is Epic or the umbrellas. I have plenty left for another layout next week and for probably a couple more. I had intended to do two, and I was going to do two of them at the same time. I couldn't print the photo that I wanted for the second layout. And just to clue you in, I'm going to do it next week. I want this, none of this looks like it would lend itself to a beachy layout, but I'm going to do a beachy layout. And we'll see. And I'm still working backwards from here because I'm gonna have to figure out a way to have a beachy layout with those images. Okay, here's a fern leaf that I thought might be kind of cute. Sticking out from behind the bird. It seems like I need a little tag right here, and I could have this one coming out from underneath. I want to give it some dimension so that I can kind of get the twine through it. There. I have this flower, which could kind of go right there. I'm going to put some foam under it. So like I said, I thought I would use the umbrella, so that's why I cut out some clouds, but I'm not using either. There we go. And I kind of want to curl these up and make them look really imperfect and kind of bent and twisty and stuff. I have this piece of flare. I've used this yellow one. I could use another one, and I've used that yellow one. I think that may be all the flare. I have these buttons. This has kind of a vintagey look. I'm gonna try to use it right here. And then I've got this. This is a chipboard button from an old My Mind's Eye set. I'm gonna kind of stick that right there. This is from that same set. This one has an interesting shape. So I'm gonna do it right there. Just kind of tucking things in a bit like you might add sequins at the last minute. I think I may just use this little envelope. Let's see. If I use it, where would I put it? I'd put it maybe right there. And so I want it closed. So I'm going to lay this across here. And I'll do that. And now I'll put a piece under it. There, and maybe a little bit of this coming out from there, just a little added interest into the okay, and I may use a little bit of this over here. This is a little bit different color from the one I used before. Trying to stick it in underneath this little chipboard hooray for cake thing. There. That works, and then maybe some right there. I'll use the rest of this. I'll cut this in 2 pieces because I see another place I'd like some. Whoops. Put this maybe right under there. right there. Okay, so we just kind of have little bits peeking out here and there. I think I'm done. I'm going to cut the twine and string it through. And I debated about whether to do this on camera or off, but I think it might be fun to do it on camera. I'm gonna kind of, that has glued itself down. I'm gonna leave some kind of hanging right there. I'll run it through here twice. And then through here. And I'll maybe, whoops, okay, that hasn't completely glued itself down. I'll have it behind there, and I'll cut it off right here, and I'll kind of twirl it and glue it a bit. I like that, kind of having some coming up above there. There. And those will, let me see how it looks from this vantage point. I'm gonna maybe twirl this in some more. And of course, I need to the glue does dry matte and clear, but if you've got too much of a glop, it can show on dark backgrounds. So there, and then I'll let that one continue to just kind of go up. Okay, now I need another piece for the bottom, and we'll see what we're going to do about that clothespin. I'm going to run it through this tag front ways. Or maybe not. Maybe not. We'll do that. Kind of come down here. I will twirl it around the clothespin. Run it through here. Maybe twice. Whoops. Okay, so it came out, but that makes it easier for me to string the twine. But then I have to go back in. Let me put a little bit of liquid glue because apparently the tape isn't holding it. Okay, let's go back here. I'm gonna actually not wrap it around. I'll scooch it through the center there, leave this curl, and then do another bit of a curl. Okay, again, that's not glued down there. Do a curl there. Now, if I'm going to do a curl, I need to glue the curl. Okay, that should work. Let me cut this a little shorter. And let it go out like that. And here, I'm going to glue it right there. I need to round that for it to look natural to me. And I'll glue it right under there. Kind of press it down with that flour. Okay, I'm done. I've got my fringe panels, my vintagey looking photos at the old Texaco station in Sulphur Springs, where the retreat was. I've got my titles, I've got my key for the load prompt, and I'm actually going to put this on the load gallery a little bit before it goes live, before the video goes live, just to beat the deadline for that. So it's similar enough to this. I wish I could have used the umbrella. Can I use the umbrella? Let's ask ourselves the question, can I use the umbrella? Could the umbrella go like right there, say? Oh, it would cover up the bird, but the bird's head could be raised to go on the umbrella. That covers Sandy's face, so we need to move it up. Get this over it. I like it. So the bird is kind of propped up on there. I like it. I like it. And I've used another element from my sheet. Is there anything else I could tuck in now that would be an addition to the look without being silly looking? I don't think I can fit that anywhere. So let's call it done. And, ooh, I like that button. You knew I was going to find something. I like that button, this button, better than that button. So let me take the backing off of this. Tuck it under that fern leaf. And it's that filigree print just looks so cool next to the geometric of the green. Okay, there we go. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're enjoying scrapping backwards. It's been a trip, and I really appreciate all of your interest and support and enthusiasm. And be sure to check out what Scrappy Adam has done. I'm sure it's fabulous. And now see, now I could use a cloud, but where would I put a cloud in all of this? Well, right there. Why not, right? let's do a cloud, why don't we? I'll stick the cloud right there on the tail end of that fringe with a little bit of fringe sticking over it, but kind of right there. It's just anything, when you're doing like scenarios, I guess is the term I would use. The more that you can kind of put in that fills in the scene, to me, the better. I like it better. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Go scrap backwards. Bye.